Switchwords. This is something I learned. I remember I bought a course and it was this lady telling us about how you can manifest. I can't remember, but it was such a good spiel and it was such a good ad, and it was all about Switchwords. And it was the first time I had ever heard about it. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this magic that you speak of? Because she had all these results and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what it is basically, if you wanted to create something that you want and it was elaborate and it had maybe a lot of steps, maybe a lot of description, maybe you wanted to add a lot of different feeling or meaning or pieces to something that you were manifesting, instead of you thinking about that whole thing and that whole scenario, you would use that whole thing that you're wanting to manifest and change it into one word. And it didn't have to be a word that represented the thing that you were trying to manifest. It would just be a word that would represent what that is. So imagine if you were trying to manifest, I don't know, a business that had 100 customers that brought in 50K a week. And that was something that you were working towards. You could then create one word that represented all those things together. So it doesn't have to be related to the business. You could call it notebook. So every time you said notebook, you would automatically know that that word meant all those things that you were talking about. And it's kind of this process where you go in and you create this scenario or this thing that it is that you are trying to use this word to encompass, and feel into all of that, and then sort of program it into that word. So that word represents that feeling. So once you do that and you get your brain to understand and your body to feel it and to understand, every time you mention that word, it's going to start connecting all the dots and go, oh, I know what that means. And you can feel into it. So you could even use it like with the story that I talk about in the beginning of creating that money as a desire. You could turn that into a switch word. Of course, that's just going to lock in one particular story or one particular way for something to happen. So you may not want to have it set up like that, but it is something that definitely that you can use to wrap up a whole lot of things together into one word, so you don't have to keep recreating the whole description and the whole experience or pieces of whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And it's just a good way, like even if you use some super random word, or even if you heard it, you could tap into it and go, yes, I'm feeling into that because you said that weird word. So that's what Switchwords is. So there is a space on the planner that you can create a switch word, and you just write that in there every day.